What would you do if everything you believed about love, trust, and family was shattered in the most horrific way? Imagine a quiet neighborhood, a family living in peace, when one fateful day, everything changes. A brutal massacre that left an entire family dead, a missing child, and a chilling mystery at its core. But what really drove a man to such extreme measures? Was it love, betrayal, or something deeper? You won't believe the shocking twists that unravel in this true crime story. Don't miss out on this chilling tale. You won't want to be the one who's left in the dark. Stay tuned and dive into the truth before everyone else does. A dark chapter in Hong Kong's history. In 1989, amidst the political turmoil surrounding the Tiananmen Square protests, Hong Kong was shaken by a different kind of tragedy, a brutal family massacre that would leave an indelible mark on the peninsula. It began in the early morning hours of June 10, when an ordinary call to the 999 Emergency Center would quickly unravel into one of the most horrifying murder cases in the region's history. What initially seemed like an ordinary missing persons case soon revealed a gruesome scene that would shock the community and force everyone to question what lay behind such unimaginable violence. A routine check turns into a nightmare. The call came from a man named Yang, who was concerned about his niece, Yang Emling, and her family. For several days, he had been unable to reach them, and when he visited their apartment, he found the iron gate unlocked and no response to his knocks. Fearing the worst, he called the police. Officers arrived at the apartment on the 5th floor of Building 26, Shuan Belu Road, only to uncover something far worse than they could have imagined. A family shattered. Upon entering the apartment, the police were met with a stench they would never forget, the unmistakable smell of decomposing bodies. What appeared to be a neat, normal home soon turned into a crime scene of horror. The body of a man, later identified as Zan Fang, the head of the family, was found on the sofa. He had been stabbed multiple times, with the most severe wounds on his head. His hand still gripped a partially eaten sandwich, a chilling symbol of the life he had been living just hours before. As the investigation continued, the police uncovered 3 more bodies, each brutally murdered and left in different areas of the apartment. A middle-aged woman, Yang Ming, was found in the kitchen. Their eldest son, Shiwen, lay in the bedroom, and their daughter, Rong, still in her school uniform, was discovered in the bathroom. On the bathroom wall, a chilling message was scrawled in black ink. In Wong Tyston, Yang X sells drugs and has ruined my entire family. The signed name was Fang. Who were they? The 4 victims, who had been brutally slaughtered, were identified as the family of Zan Fang. Zan, 56, worked as a security guard and had been living in the apartment for over a decade. His wife, Yang Ming, 42, had recently opened a traditional Chinese medicine shop. Their eldest son, Shiwen, was a 17-year-old recent high school graduate, while their 15-year-old daughter, Rong, attended a nearby high school. The most heart-wrenching part of the story was the missing boy minus 8-year-old Zai Quan, who had miraculously avoided being part of the massacre. A race against time. The police quickly realized that the boy, Zai Quan, was the only one left who could potentially lead them to the murderer. They split into 2 teams, one to search for Zai Quan, the other to investigate the background of the family. What they discovered about the family's relationships would soon point to one man, a middle-aged man named Kang Ha Tang, a man with a complicated past. Neighbors described Tang as a hot-tempered man who had been coming and going from the Fang household for over a decade. He was often seen with the youngest boy, Zai Quan, whom he referred to as his godson. However, the exact nature of his relationship with the family remained a mystery. Tang had been living in the household for years, acting as a servant and caretaker for Zai Quan, but things were far more complicated than they seemed. The motive? Tang's relationship with the family was much more intricate than a simple servant role. He had fallen deeply in love with Yang Ming, and the two had begun an affair. This relationship led to a series of deceptions, betrayals, and emotional turmoil. Despite discovering that Yang Ming had never been divorced and had a son from a previous marriage, Tang stayed, hoping for a chance to make the situation work. The real breakdown came when he discovered that Yang Ming was involved with another man Yang Ming, in 1984. Over the years, the situation only worsened, with Tang's feelings of resentment and jealousy festering. His mental state began to deteriorate, but it was not until March 1989, just months before the murders, that the situation reached a boiling point. After learning about Yang Ming's ongoing affair and the breakdown of his relationship with her, Tang began to unravel emotionally, leading to the fateful day in June 1989. The crime. On June 10th, the day of the murders, Tang's relationship with the family reached its breaking point. After a heated argument with Yang Ming about his role in the household, Tang's emotional state spiraled out of control. He attacked her in a fit of rage, and when her son, Shiwen, intervened, he was also killed. The final blow came when Rong, the young daughter, arrived home, triggering another violent outburst. Tang's confession was chilling. He explained that he had been overwhelmed by a sense of betrayal and anger, unable to control his actions in the moment. He claimed that when he later confessed to the head of the household, Zan Fang, Fang expressed a desire to end his own life. Tang claimed that he could not bring himself to harm Fang, but that Fang had picked up a hammer and struck himself. In a desperate attempt to cover his tracks, Tang wrote the ominous message on the bathroom wall, trying to frame someone else for the killings. The aftermath. For days, the police were in a race against time, desperately searching for both Zai Quan and the suspect Tang. When Zai Quan was finally found, the investigation turned toward locating Tang, who had disappeared. It would take months before a tip led authorities to a cafe in Macau, where Tang was finally apprehended. His confession revealed a deeply disturbed man whose life had been consumed by obsessive love, betrayal, and jealousy. A complicated defense, Tang's trial was as complex as the crime itself. His defense attorneys argued that his mental state had been severely compromised by years of emotional turmoil. They presented psychiatric reports that claimed he suffered from depression and jealousy, but the prosecution presented evidence that contradicted Tang's version of events, revealing inconsistencies in his testimony and exposing the flaws in his defense. Ultimately, Tang was found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. His appeal was rejected, and the case closed, leaving many unanswered questions about the true nature of his mental state and his motivations. The tragic consequences of obsessive love. The story of Kang Ha Tang serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of becoming overly dependent on another person, whether emotionally or financially. Tang's obsessive love for Yang Ming blinded him to the realities of his situation, and in the end, it led him down a path of destruction. As we reflect on this tragedy, it serves as a reminder that love, when consumed by jealousy and resentment, can turn into a force of destruction. Reflecting on the human condition. This case is a haunting reminder of the complexities of human relationships, the dangers of obsession, and the devastating consequences of emotional neglect. What began as a tale of love and devotion spiraled into an unimaginable tragedy, leaving behind a shattered family and a community forever marked by the events of June 10th, 1989. This chilling case leaves us questioning everything about obsession, love, and the consequences of unchecked emotions. But this is just the beginning. There's so much more to uncover. Are you ready for the next gripping story? In our upcoming video, we'll dive into the shocking moment a Marine officer discovers his wife's affair while on duty. True crime at its most heart-stopping. Don't miss out on this one. Subscribe now to our channel for the latest investigations and exclusive documentaries you won't find anywhere else. Be the first to know, because you won't want to be left behind.